The Pope of Greenwich Village, starring Eric Roberts, Mickey Rourke, Daryl Hannah, um, Paulie, Burt Young from Rocky. Unfortunately, just died last year. But synopsis is two cousins unknowingly rob the mob and face the dangerous consequences. Which is kind of true, but one of them knew they were robbing the mob. But anyways, so Eric Roberts and Mickey Rourke, they've been like best friends since childhood. They both work in this like Italian restaurant. Eric Roberts, I think, is a waiter, and Mickey Rourke, I think, is like a greeter. Makes reservations and stuff like that. It's like an upscale place. And Eric Roberts is kind of shaving money off the top. Like people order, 12 entrees, but he only writes it on the receipt that he gives to his boss for like half of that, and then he takes the half of the money. So his boss finds out about this. Mickey Rourke is his boss, so they both get fired. Mickey Rourke gets pretty angry at him, but they're old friends, so continue to be friends. Mickey Rourke has all these bills. He has like an ex-wife that he, for some reason, pays all of her bills, even though it's his ex-wife. And she has a car in his name, and she gets tickets all over town, so he owes thousands of dollars in tickets. He owes all this money to all these people, and he's dating the beautiful Daryl Hannah, who looks great in this movie, and she's like a ballet dancer, I think. So he's kind of looking like, what am I going to do next? Eric Roberts comes up to him and says, hey, there's this safe. I know a safe cracker. And it'd be easy, one night job. Go in there. We get 150K. And Mickey Rourke doesn't really want to do it, but he thinks it over, and he eventually agrees to do it. And of course, they do it, and things go wrong, obviously. So, but yeah, this is an interesting one. I liked it. It's not a perfect movie, but I enjoyed it. Mickey Rourke's a very good actor. He's very good in this. This is pretty early on. It's 1984. Eric Roberts is really good in this, although he gets a little annoying at some points, I thought. But Daryl Hannah's good. Burt Young, is in it, but not for that long. Just kind of like at the end. And directed by Stuart Rosenberg, who directed Cool Hand Luke, which is an amazing movie. Man, directed tons of stuff in the 50s, 60s. This is one of his last movies, though. He also directed the Amityville Horror, too. So I'd say for me, I think Cool Hand Luke is his best movie. This is just what I've seen. Then Pope of Greenwich Village, and I'm not a massive fan of the Amityville Horror. I mean, it's okay, but I've never been a massive fan of that movie. But this is one of his last movies, though. Because after this, he did Let's Get Harry, and My Heroes Have Always Been Cowboys. And that was 1991. Oh, with Gary Busey. Huh. So yeah, so it's very good director, knows what he's doing, and yeah, I enjoyed this movie. It kind of reminds me of like the way it's kind of directed, like a Scorsese movie, or maybe like The Killing of a Chinese Bookie, a little bit more probably on the Scorsese side. And apparently Scorsese almost directed The Killing of a Chinese Bookie, so because him and the director of that movie were like good friends. But anyways, because this involves the mob, because spoilers, they rip off the mob. Eric Roberts knew about it. He rips off Burt Young, who's like this mob boss, this Italian mob boss, and they get this older Irish guy to help them, who is like fixes clocks and stuff like that, and he's also a lockpick, and can crack safes. So they go there, everything's going well, and then all of a sudden this cop shows up. And I was kind of confused on this part because this cop, he has a tape on him where he taped Burt Young, and then he is going to pick up money. I think he's going to steal the money also from the safe, but he knows the combination. And then I think he's gonna use the tape against Burt Young and be like, I took your money, but you can't do anything about it. I think I was a little confused on that part, but he shows up, and it's Jack Kehoe, yeah, who's in Midnight Run. And he's the guy in Midnight Run that's like he's like always like going to get donuts. And I think he's actually working for like the other guy in Midnight Run. But anyways, yeah, Jack Kehoe. Wow, he's in The Sting, Serpico. But for me, I was like, oh, that's the guy in Midnight Run. But anyways, he goes in there, and then he notices that the safe is being cracked, and they're hiding in the back. And then he just kind of like, he pulls his gun out, and he's like, freeze. But then he just kind of trips, and he falls down an elevator shaft and dies. So they freak out. They don't know what to do. They were just going to leave, but the Roberts and the guy who cracked the safe is like, no, I'm taking the money, and I'm almost done. So they take the money. It's $150K. They split it 3 ways. And then soon after, Burt Young finds out, because they also left some papers in there, and his fingerprints is on it. Because Eric Roberts is kind of like, he's just a messed up guy. Like he just is constantly getting Mickey Rourke into trouble, and he gets him into trouble on this. And Eric Roberts, they find out it's him, and they actually one of the other Italian mob guys is like, I think like a godfather for Eric Roberts, because they're Italian too in this. And so Burt Young kind of shows some mercy on him, and he cuts off one of his thumbs, which is pretty brutal. And then he sells out the Irish guy, and then he flees. But he just says it's just me and this other guy. He won't give out Mickey Rourke. And but in the end, he actually gives up Mickey Rourke, because he's like kind of grilling him, Eric Roberts, and he's like, I want to know exactly like who was the watch, who was the lookout, who did this, who did that. And during this, he gave him up. and then they're gonna flee to like Miami, but they end up not doing that. So so yeah, it's a very kind of like low level crime boss mobster kind of feel to the movie, which I like. Like I said, Scorsese. It's in New York. I mean, at one point they're on like the top of a building, and in the background you can see the two towers, which is like wow, remember those when those existed. But yeah, it's got a nice slick look to it. It's got good music. It has some Sinatra. That part definitely reminded me of Scorsese. But but yeah, I mean, I don't have much to say after that because it's a pretty simple movie. Eric Roberts gets his thumb cut off. He goes to Mickey Rourke for help. Mickey Rourke kind of nurses him back to health. Daryl Hannah ends up getting pregnant, and she ends up getting pissed at Mickey Rourke because he did this job. So she flees. She takes like 45K of the money from Rourke because she's like, well, I don't feel bad about it because like this will like I have to take care of our child, and he doesn't do anything because he's like, okay, whatever. So she leaves him 5K, and I think Eric Roberts gives Burt Young like 43K, and he says he spent the rest of it, and then the Irish the locksmith flees. Um, so they're kind of looking out. They're looking for him. And then he Eric Roberts ends up telling Mickey Rourke that he gave him up. So Mickey Rourke, he gets all dressed up. He has the tape of the cop, so he has dirt on Burt Young. So he goes there and he tells Burt Young, like you're gonna let this go, and if you don't, then this could get you over 20 years in jail. Burt Young doesn't seem too happy about this. Oh yeah, and also Eric Roberts is a basically has to work in their coffee shop, um, and give Burt Young coffee, I guess to pay off his debt. Should take forever, but and he ends up slipping poison in his coffee cup, and Burt Young drinks it. Minute later, stands up, freaks out, breaks through the glass, is running around, and just drops dead. I was like, wow, I wasn't expecting that. So definitely wasn't expecting the end. But yeah, I thought it was a pretty good movie. It's probably about on line with The Killing of a Chinese Bookie. That movie's too long though, but I'd say I enjoyed it about it's like a similar level. It's written by Vincent Patrick. Oh, he wrote The Devil's Own. That's a pretty good movie. That's with Harrison Ford. But yeah, he hasn't really written that much. It's a pretty good script. I mean, it's really simple, but I liked it. So we got 3 out of 4 stars by Roger Ebert. He says the Pope of Greenwich Village bills itself as a drama and is structured like a crime thriller, but I categorize it as basically a behavior movie. The real subject of the movie is the behavior of the characters, and the story is essentially an excuse for showboat performances. This movie is an actor's dream, and the actors involved are Eric Roberts, fresh from his triumph in Star 80. No, that's a good movie. I think that's even better than this. As Paulie, Mickey Rourke, the hero of Diner. I haven't seen that. And as Charlie, Daryl Hannah, right after her hit in Splash. As an aerobics instructor, and the usual support types like Tony Masanti as the uncle, Burt Young stuffing his face with pasta. Yeah. as the Godfather. There is a scene when he's like just stuffing his face full of like pasta. It's hilarious. As the Godfather, Geraldine Page as the tough talking mother of the dead cop, and also Kenneth McKillen has a well acted role as an old safecracker who gets caught in the middle of the whole deal. There are times when the Pope of Greenwich Village seems to aspire to some great meaning, some insight into the crime, like The Godfather had. But the tip off is the last shot, where the boys have a happy go lucky walk down the street and into a freeze frame while Sinatra is trotted out for his third encore. This movie is not really about anything except behavior, and the only human drama in it is the story of the safecracker and his family. But, yeah, it's true. That doesn't mean it's not worth seeing. The behavior is well observed, although Eric Roberts has a tendency to go over the top in his mannered performance, and the last two scenes are highly unlikely. Yeah, yeah. I liked Eric Roberts in this, but he's kind of a little annoying for me. Like he's like they cut my finger off, and like he just kept saying it and screaming, and I mean I get it. They cut your thumb off. Like that sucks, man. But um I don't know. I just thought he was a little too over the top, but it's not it. It's worth seeing for the acting, and it's got some good laughs in it. And New York is colorfully observed. But don't tell me this movie's about human nature because it's not. It's about acting. That's interesting. Definitely for Rourke and Eric Roberts. Yeah, but I do think the movie's successful in that you do feel like they're old friends. That um Mickey Rourke won't abandon Eric Roberts, and Eric Roberts, even though he sold him out, he at first didn't, and only did when Burt Young knew he was lying. He knew there was a third person involved, because he's also like, so you give the safecracker 2/3 of the job, but you only keep a third, and he's like, yeah, like it's just obvious that there's a third person involved because they each get 50K, so. But yeah, it's nice to see Burt Young in another role besides Rocky. He's very good as a mob boss. I wonder if he ever played another role as a mob boss because he's just perfect as that. I think. But yeah, it's an enjoyable movie. It's only about 2 hours long, so yeah, I really liked it. The Pope of Greenwich Village. Check it out. Mickey Rourke, Eric Roberts at the height of their careers, and yeah, there's a lot of other good actors in it too. So, and very well made movie by the director Stuart Rosenberg. So, but that's about it. If you could do me a favor and smash that like button, that'd be great. Like, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you next time.